All right. Good afternoon, Nick Nation.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes,
Nick
sir.
Nation.
Yes, sir. Here we are with another edition of Nick Dreams with your host, Santana, and our special guest, Mr. Bill, and myself, Henry. And, we just, coming to you live. And we want to share our thoughts and our expectations and what we think about our favorite team and how you see them so far and what we're looking forward to for the rest of the season. So I hand it off to Santana.
Yeah, gentlemen, it's a new year. Hope springs eternal. The Knicks closed out or brought in the new year with a new, with another win. They're currently at 500, and of course, I'm excited about where we are right now as a team in terms of their progress. Bill, what are your thoughts on, what we're seeing right now with the Knicks?
I'm excited, and you can clearly tell that we're a team with an identity, and we're going in a particular direction, which we haven't seen in the last few seasons around here since I would like to say since Woodson left.
Whoa.
We've had some terrible seasons. We've had the worst winning seasons in franchise history with who? With Fisher, and I just
Hornacek.
I don't even want to talk about those days.
Don't forget Hornacek.
Hornacek, him, and then our guy from last year. Oh my goodness. I
Fisdale.
even forget his Fizdale.
Fisdale.
Oh my goodness. I don't like to kick a man when he's down, so I would just refrain from even speaking about the gentleman. But Tibbs, well, first it starts on with Rose. He brought in the necessary people to point us towards a winning franchise, point us towards us being a winning franchise. And I like the way they're playing so far. Like Santana said, playing 500 ball, and we're going to get better. I see that. I think we're gonna get better as time progresses. How about you, Henry?
Well, I agree with you. 99.9% of everything that you say so far. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and call ourselves a winning franchise just yet. But we are going to be winning some games, and we are going to be in most games. And that's what's important. That last few years, we were out of most games by the time the halfway through the third quarter.
Absolutely.
And that was one of my worries coming into this year. We were having conversations around the changes that are happening, and that is that in the third quarter, that was the quarter when the Knicks just wilted. They just gave up. And nowadays it's a whole different look, a whole different feel. There's hope that you're going to be in the game with 5 minutes left to go.
Absolutely.
It's still going to be, the game is still winnable with 5 minutes left to go. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see half a game, and which I did see, as a matter of fact, in the first, the Indiana game, we were up 66 something. And then all of a sudden, we just let it go.
Third quarter, they got us.
Exactly. But in the last few games, we were right there. We gave it up in Toronto. I think they're playing in Tampa. I don't want to say in Toronto anymore. I'm trying to get used to that. But against the Raptors, we gave it up. But after that, we came back and we did well. And before that, we had done very good. The Hawks are 4-2 with 3-3. We could have easily been 4-2 just like them. And so yes, I'm looking forward to a new year, a new regime, a real coach, young guys that are buying in. I love the fact that he's giving opportunities to that young man quickly, because
Oh
I
yes,
think that he's going to be. And you know what? We talked about the Knicks not having IQ, a low IQ. Well, that guess what his initials are?
IQ.
IQ. That's who we got now. We got IQ on the team.
And
But
he's already a fan favorite too.
hey, he's been my favorite from day
He's
one.
already a fan
I was
favorite.
I was watching him in Kentucky. And I'm like, yo, this kid is pretty good. And the whole thing was the other guard, Maxwell or Maxim or something. That was the focus. But he was like, and when I heard recently that he had an interview where he mentioned the fact, hey, listen, I was playing the two guard, but I'm really a point guard. And he's coming in here with that mindset. I said, yo, that's the point guard of the future for us. And that's what we've been looking for. We've been looking all over the place, and the man is sitting right there on our bench. Okay.
Yes.
We could stop looking now. Okay. So, along with the others. So I'm going to hand it off back to Hakeem. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, indeed. So I think that you've been listening to the conversation so far.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about the changes of the Knicks this year, and what are your expectations?
I like what I see so far. I think one of the biggest changes from last year, I think you touched on it, is that they're buying in defensively, and on offensively, they're moving the ball around. The ball's not getting stuck in hands anymore. Even people that it tend to get stuck, like Randall, from time to time, it would get stuck in his hands. He's bought into pushing the ball around. He's playing at borderline, almost all-star level in the East, I would say. And he's very important to the movement in the offense. I think the young guys are pushing the veterans, and vice versa. I think it's very inspiring and positive to see that at both levels, starters and immediate backups are driving each other at every position. Point guard, shooting guard, the 3 position, the 4 and the 5. As far as what we've seen in previous years, and that's good things. That's definitely what we want to see going forward. I did an early projection that I've been putting out there. I'm looking at 37, 35.
Woo!
And
Optimism.
Yeah. I feel that way. Why not? Barring any injuries, as long as these young guys continue to progress and push the veterans, even the guys that are not going to stay around because they're on short contracts, they can help themselves in this type of situation and show that they can be a veteran that can help young guys get on board with what's going on and be valuable to another team via possibly a trade halfway through the season. They can help a championship team get to where they want to be, and so it's a win-win situation, what I see at this point, and I'm happy,
Yeah, no, I think, many Knicks fans right now have a lot of hope, and that's a great thing. I think we haven't been feeling this way for a long time, but it's realistic. I mean, the improvements on this team is indisputable. Obviously, the new coaching staff has really implemented their approach to the game, which starts with defense, that starts with an identity, that starts with culture, which is something that I had this debate with Henry throughout the last couple of years in terms of, who are the Knicks? What do they stand for? How do we, whenever we're playing out there, how do people view us? How do we view ourselves? Do we know who we are? Now we don't have that question. If anything, we know that every game they're going to play hard. They're going to go for that 50-50 ball. They're going to play hard defense, and if they don't produce, they're going to get pulled by Captain Hook on the bench. He's going to be coaching. He's going to be coaching. That player or those players are going to be coaching with Thibodeau as they watch the other players, the young players, the veteran players, whatever mix or combination that you have going out there and actually producing and performing. Because Thibodeau is not taking any shortcuts. He's expecting them to win, and that's what you want from a leader. You don't want a guy that's just going to say, hey, well, throw your hands up and, let them develop. No. You set the standards high. You expect to win. Now, you know that you're not going to win every single game. However, you do want to play as though you want to win every game. And that's something that I'm totally excited about because I see it. I see the sense of urgency in this team, and I see a commitment to the defense. I see a commitment to development. Everything is coming to the table. So, what do you guys think about that in terms of the overall strategy and so forth and so on? You want to go? You want to start off, Henry?
Yeah, well, I want to touch back on the thing Hakeem was mentioning about the rookies pushing the veterans. That's real important because I can see Thibs going with the hot hand. He's going with the players that are going to be performing on the floor. And if that is a rookie, well, that's just going to have to be. And the fact that these rookies come in here and show themselves to be productive is pushing some of those other guys to say, holy shit, my job is not, it's in jeopardy here if I don't perform. I could be like Miguel said, I could be sitting on the bench next to the coach talking about, how well they're doing in there. The other thing is that we haven't even had a full complement of players yet. Right. Remember that, Rivers has been out, Burks has been out, Toppin has been out, and Quickly has been out. So now these are the guys that, well, Burks in the beginning, he was the most consistent shooter on the floor. Whenever he was on the floor, you can count on that his shot was going to go in. I think he was the leading scorer, as a matter of fact, other than Randall, I think.
He was second. He's averaging, in the games he played, he averages a little over 20 a game.
Hey, look at that. And not only that, but he was proficient. It wasn't like, 5 out of 25 or something like that. It was like a good, consistent, 40% or 45%, somewhere in the 40s. He was doing very good. So now we get Rivers coming in, and you see how proficient he is in the few minutes that he's gotten. And so I can only imagine how much better we're going to be when we have those guys. And I see that second unit of Rivers and Alec Burks actually was starting at one point. But I think Rivers Quickly and even Alex Burks getting some minutes with that crew, it's like, holy cow, I guess they're going to put in Noel coming off the bench and Mitchell Robinson. But I would love to see Mitchell Robinson and Quickly playing together, man, So, yes, absolutely, man. And if nothing else, we can now depend on playing defense. There's going to be, some black and blues at the end of that game. Hopefully more on the other team than on us. But, I don't mind that. I don't mind going back to the Charles Oakley, Xavier McDaniel days. You know what I'm saying? Don't come in this lane thinking that it's going to be all right. Yeah. You're going to take something with you on the way out. And that was the problem the last game that we played Indiana. They killed us inside.
Yeah.
That did not happen this game around, And I think Miguel was talking on another chat platform, and basically he came up with the suggestion that maybe we can play Randall on Sabonis, and that's exactly what happened. And he shut his ass down. Excuse my language. He shut him down to where he was frustrated. And he got some fouls in the beginning of the game. Some of them legitimate. Some of them were kind of like, suspect. Because if it was my team, I was like, yo, man, what are you doing? You're trying to get my man out the game. But for the most part, he got frustrated after that because that's all he needs. He needs somebody to play defense on him. And that's basically what most players don't want. They want to be styling and, doing their thing, but they don't want nobody playing defense on them. So the Knicks are going to be a different team this year only because they're going to be playing defense on people.
What's your thoughts, Bill?
I think that I agree with everything that Henry just said, basically. And the Knicks are going to be a team where I know for the past several seasons when teams came into the Garden or the Knicks went to their house, they just chalked up a win on their
W.
behalf. They just definitely. I don't think they can look at it. I say us now. They can't look at us like that now. They're gonna say, okay, well, they're coming in here. They're gonna give us a game.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna give us a game because their foundation is defense. And once you have your defense established, it seemingly lends to your offense. It makes your offense flow easier when your defense is set up. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be or what have you. So that when we're on the offensive end of the ball, it seemingly runs better when your defense is playing better. So and the Indiana, the first game where Sabonis muscled our two bigs all over the place, and that was a great move to put Randall on him in the second game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had others helping because Randall, he can't out muscle Randall. Randall's just as strong as he is. And then you had Randall being able to turn him into help. So we got a lot of help defense. We were slapping the ball out of his hand, and he basically got frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Now he did his work on the boards because he still had I think he had 13 boards, and I think but he only had maybe 13, 14 points. And in that first game, what did he have? He dropped like maybe 30 something on us in that first. That was crazy. So Hakeem, how you feel?
Not bad. So I think some good points. 2 points I want to make. The first point being with these games against the teams, we see them twice in a week or 2 weeks. It gives us an early indication of what we can expect from the coaching staff itself, right? Making adjustments and things like that. Indiana was a good game. You guys made great points. Sabonis beat us up in that first game. What did we do? A couple of games later, we come back, reevaluate, make some adjustments. It gave Robinson also a chance to understand what he was up against a person that's going to bring body and weight against him, right? He has tremendous offensive skills. So I'm talking about Sabonis, where he pulls you away from the basket. So they made the adjustments, switching Randall onto him, putting Robinson back in a more comfortable feel of roaming, help defender, got some blocks, adjusted many other shots during the game. And the coaching staff in general, like we said before, they're pushing more hands up, moving the ball around on offense. Honestly, my gut feeling is that we probably wouldn't have lost the first game had quickly not gone out. I think he was moving the ball at a pace, surprisingly to us because he's new to us, most of our fans. So he pushes the ball at a pace that's, quicker.
Yes.
Then and that's at his normal pace. So some people just have a faster pace to moving the ball up the floor that gets you into the offense. And that's the biggest thing that he brings to the team is that he's putting us in our offense faster. And then that helps, the shooters. We've added some shooters. They're actually starting to drop shots. Burks, Bullock, like you said, Rivers. Rivers is a good problem to have when you're trying to find space for him as a third person, as a third shooting guard. That's another thing we haven't had in the past. It's like we just lack shooting altogether. We hope people come around to the shooting, but the shooting is actually showing up this year. These guys are pushing each other in the guards. We said that earlier. And, and that was that. The shooting was my second point, is that the pace of our offense is a lot faster and more efficient than it was in the past. Not locking up that ball at the top of the key. This trial and error with these guards might work, these guards might not work. Quickly and Peyton, those are your guys. They're going to push. Barring any injury, they should take us hopefully towards a late season run, hopefully for the playoffs. If they have that extended bubble type playoff thing, we should definitely be battling within that and show some signs of progress. Winning some of those games also. Beyond that, just looking to see more progress, continued effort. Robinson, I still think he needs a little more development, some weight, but Noel is a good addition. if we could somehow get a third person bodying a little bit more down low, but when Toppin comes back, I expect that'll be the case with him. Even though Thibodeau giving these guys a little bit of a green light is a little bit of a surprise to me. Also, he usually doesn't do that. Teams in the past, he usually leans on his veterans to do those types of things. But he seems to be giving green light to these young guys also quickly. Seems like he'll pull up and shoot anytime he feels comfortable or has space. And Toppin in the preseason, I think he had a game where he shot like 6 or 7 threes. He didn't make them all, but the fact that he's just pulling and firing away, that's going to spread. That's going to hold defenders away from the basket, and that opens up the lane for easy buckets for Mitchell Robinson, which is what he does his best anyway.
Right.
Efficient putting up buckets.
There's a couple of points that you guys all touched up on, and I'm seeing a theme. Number one, you guys are recognizing the adjustments that are being made from game to game. And of course, Sabonis is a great example of that. The first game that they played against Indiana, of course, Sabonis did his thing. But then by game 2, adjustments were made in terms of matchups and how to, defend him better and how to attack the Pacers in that process. Then Akeem brought up the issue about pace and, moving the pace. The beauty of it, and I look at the game in a holistic kind of way. Yes, it's great to have speed. Speed is going to definitely be very, an asset that's going to help us in this current era of the NBA because everybody's running up and down and stuff like that. So quickly brings that dimension to the Knicks that we haven't had in the past. Now, in terms of Peyton, he doesn't bring the quickness, but he brings a steady hand. So, being able to balance that out throughout a game is the ingredient to winning. To be able to utilize both of their skills, not condemn them for what they don't have, because the other one has what the other one doesn't have, and vice versa. So it's knowing as a coach how to blend those ingredients in the course of a game to get the victory that you need to win. So that's a great point that you make, and I just wanted to get that point across because I know that in the chat world, in different shows, people are killing either Peyton because of this or that or whatever the case may be, and they want quickly. And yeah, we all want to see, that marquee number one point guard. We don't have that point guard yet. Right. What we have is we have a great program, a game manager. This is what I view Peyton as. And then in terms of quickly, we have a potential. Right. And I want to preface that because I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. He's a rookie. Right. He's starting out. To put all these expectations on him, I think is unfair to him. So, I like to, just bring it back, dial it back a little bit. Let's just work with what we have, and they're helping us win. We could work with that. That's great. That's fine. Let's move forward with that. In terms of the other players on the team, Randall's playing at another level right now. He's had the skill set, but now it's learning how to own it up and play under control. And yes, we're going to get turnovers with him. But remember, he's handling the ball a lot. So, I'm not encouraging him to, turn the ball over, but you have to expect that there's going to be some level of turnovers because he's doing everything. Everything is running through him right now as a point forward. And that's okay. The key is that he's recognizing the mistakes that he's made in the past. He's minimized that, and he's trying to get his teammates involved, and that's great. Now, in terms of shooting, and that's a great point that you raise, Akeem, in terms of the shooters that we have at the moment. Yes, Burks is a reliable shooter, so we could definitely lean on him. Bullock is suspect right now. Bullock has been very inconsistent, and so I'm not sold on Bullock. Kevin Knox, he's starting to come around. He just still needs to learn to be more selective about his 3-point shots. Because, I know last year he was just chucking. Yeah. Okay. This year he's trying to attack the basket a little bit more, which is good because you got to balance it off a little bit. Barrett, I like his last game. His last game, he didn't take but more than 5 threes. I like that because what he focused on was attacking the basket, taking it to the hole, playing that bully ball style of play, which is his strength. You know, of course, they're going to try to take that away. And then you go and you settle for a mid-range shot. And then you go back to the three-point line, and then you can shoot a three. But not shooting threes until you hit them. No. We don't need to play like that. Let's play smarter than that. Let's make shots. Or let's get a traditional three, which is take it to the basket, get fouled, and get to the free throw line. Right. You know what I mean? That's another way of getting a three. So, I just wanted to touch up on those points because I just wanted to give my take on it. Now I'm just going to swing it back to Henry, then you go to Bill, and then Akeem, and we come back around.
I want to come back to the idea about, Toppin, which is what you just said about Knox. I think Toppin had a couple of a great game and a good game in the beginning of the year when he was all down low. Then he went out to the 3-point line, and like Hakeem said, he started chucking up about 10 of them. It feels like anyway, maybe not that many, but it was too many. Okay, it was way too many for a person that is not known or that hasn't proven himself to be that type of shooter. I told Knox the other in the Indiana game, he took a 3-pointer, and in the next 30 seconds, he was out of the game. Mm-hmm. He pulled him right out. I said, "Holy shit, what happened?"
Captain Hook.
Like, "Oh man," he said,
Captain Hook.
He was going like, "Oh man," he walked all the way back to his seat next to the Gatorade. But
check your socks,
yo, and that's what they need. See, because as long as he thinks that he can chuck them up and he's going to stay in the game, he's going to continue to chuck them up. But the minute he knows that, hey, I better take a good shot, I better square my ass to the basket, I better have my shoulders, my hands, everything, I better make these. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting in the back over there with the Gatorade cooler in the back. And, he came back, but he's doing a little bit more than that, though. He's playing defense. He's on the floor. Second game, third game of the year, people are throwing themselves on the floor for those 50-50 balls. It's like, whoa, man, this like they play like for a job, and they need that. They all need that. And it goes back to the point that was made earlier, that the rookies are pushing the veterans, and the veterans are feeling like, I better do something. I better do something with my 2 minutes over here. Otherwise, I'm not even going to get that. So it's a wonderful problem to have. I'm just glad that is finally coming around, and that everybody's going out there and making the most out of the minutes that they're getting, and that it's got to be the next minutes that they're going to get. They have to earn it by producing in these minutes, because nothing is guaranteed, and that's what I like. I think outside of Randall, and I think he's giving a lot of leeway to RJ, okay? Because after that horrible game that he had against the Raptors, I would have thought twice about starting his behind me too. But he came back. He came back. Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
I want to go back to Obi's shooting threes. Mm-hmm. I think I mentioned this to Santana when I spoke to you. Is it me, or is his arc like? I don't know if you would remember Hakeem, but Henry, you remember World Be Free?
Yes, I remember World Be Free. He used to throw darts.
He shot so high that the ball would leave the camera sight for a while, and then you would catch it back coming down. Right. And Obi's arc is basically even higher than Knox's. Okay. If you watch how he shoots. And I'm wondering, how does that go in? But they say that, he's a good 3-point shooter. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
but Tibbs gives him the confidence to shoot it, so he's shooting him.
Yeah. And I think the thing with Toppin also, he started out as a guard. He's one of those guys like Anthony Davis did back in high school. I think he started out as a guard. He grew in, filled in body-wise, and then switched positions. So he still has – that's why he has a little handle with him, and his moves to the basket, and he has a little bit of shooting, I think this year it's important, and I think we all understand that the biggest thing we want to see going into this year is improvement. We're seeing that right off the bat. Coming off of last year, coming into this year, that long break gave these players a chance to reevaluate who they want to be in the NBA and what they want to bring to this team. And Thibodeau, his influence on the team is undeniable. Like I said, I think we started off the show saying that, right? So basically, the fact that he has consequential green light. You can shoot 2-3 in a row. You give me an air ball that's not called for, I'm pulling you. And the next person coming in is going to want to do the same thing because he's going to have the same green light. So you have a consequence to playing well, not playing well. If you don't play defense on this team, you will not play. That, all right? But the other good thing about it is that his assistant coaches are quality coaches. They've had head coaching experience from the past. Woodson, he's a great influence. He was a great influence. Everybody wanted him back at some point. Bringing in Kenny Payne from Kentucky is a very subtle move that is paying off dividends for us. Whether he has a real influence on them or not, they feel comfortable around him having a coach there that's from their school. That's all it comes down to. Knox is showing a little bit of improvement. We want him to show what Barrett is showing me this year. Barrett is showing me he can play in the NBA. He this year, if he gives me some, I think I tried to sneak it in, some like a James Harden light kind of player, not James Harden himself, not the shooting, but James Harden took 2 or 3 years before he got traded to Houston where he really took off. He showed us that he could play as a lefty. His shooting will come along. Right now, he's showing me that he can body anybody from the outside, from the 3-point line, and dribble him right down to the hole. And whether he makes his layup or not, or goes to the basket is what we end up with, hoping turns into points. The other thing he needs to be more consistent about is his free throw shooting. If he can hold free throw shooting to 80, 85% consistently, he 25-point scorer. Easy. There's no reason why he shouldn't be scoring 25 a game. So if he has a bad game, I'm not worried about pulling him. I know you're quick to pull up there, You can't start the next game and that kind of stuff. No, he's here. He's a solid guard. Whether he plays 2 or 3 for us, he needs to be starting because he needs to progress as a player. He was, before Zion came along, the number 1 player in the nation coming out of high school, going into college. He scored more points and rebounded at a higher rate than Williamson, but Williamson caught all the hoopla and the glamour and the glitz for all the dunking and stuff. But if you go back and check the numbers, it was Barrett who led them in scoring and Barrett who led them in rebounding. So he can still play with people. That's why playing alongside Randall doesn't hurt his development.
Right.
He's to playing with somebody who can be ball dominant, but it's better that Randall's sharing the ball because it helps develop a relationship, whether Randall's here long term or not. And right now he's kind of showing that he wants to be here long term, or at least make his money because it's a contract year. So let's not kid ourselves. He's coming to ball this year. He's not
a contract year for who?
For Randall. This is his final year, right?
Well, no. He got another year left. He got another year.
Okay.
He got another year.
I thought this was his year that he was out. So
No.
Okay.
He's got another year. He's making $19 million per year. So that's a bargain deal for a player of his caliber right now. Because right now that's one thing. His value to this team is number one. Obviously, he's the most complete player on the team right now. That's indisputable. He's the most consistent player on the team right now. Okay. And now he's learning how to minimize some of the mistakes, the errors, the turnovers, and the decision. He's cleaning that stuff up. So I think, what he's realized and what Thibodeau has done is Thibodeau has put the game the ball in his hands so that he could be the catalyst in this offense. And he did that. Believe it or not, even though this cat didn't have the skill set that Randall has, Joakim Noah, right?
Yeah.
That cat, he would handle the rock a lot at the top of the key. And he was able to pass. He couldn't dribble and shoot like Julius can, but Julius has even more skill than Noah does or did. Okay? So I do expect that he's going to make that same type of improvement that Noah did, because Noah became defensive player of the year, for the NBA as a defensive player. Now, in terms of Randall, I'm not sure if he'll get to that level in terms of defensive player of the year for the entire league, but his defense has definitely improved. That was proven with the Sabonis, matchup and other matchups. And on top of that, he has a varying skill set. The thing that I do want to touch up on is the point of shooting. And this is where I know I mentioned this at another show that I got on, and I think I spoke with Henry about, and picking up a shooter that's out there right now, that's a free agent. Now, I know he's old, but you need a guy like that that's going to help. And as a matter of fact, I would hire him as a player coach, and that would be Kyle Korver. Okay? Kyle Korver, the value that he brings to the team, or the dimension that he brings to the team, especially the Knicks, is something they don't have. They don't have a guy that moves good without the ball. All right? And that's very important, because right now you got guys that they're standing around. Some of them can attack the basket. Some of them maybe can do a little bit, around the paint and stuff like that. This guy, he's moving without the ball consistently, and on top of that, he can shoot, and he can hit at a high clip at the free throw line. So I say that to say, by bringing him in, it's not about how many minutes he's going to get. It's how he's going to help develop the other players on the team, evolve their game, whether it's moving without the ball, learning how to shoot, coming off of picks, and even hitting free throws, and bringing the work ethic that this cat has brought to the league for as long as he's been able to play in this league. Now, the question is, does he want to come to the Knicks? I don't know. But right now, he's a free agent. And I would bring him on, for a year with a team option on the second year, just to bring that to the table. Now, who would I replace on the team? The cat that unfortunately is a numbers game that wouldn't be able to stay on the team is the young kid, Harper, the point guard, because he's not going to get any run. You got a logjam at point guard. So you move him down to the G League where he could get his run and continue to develop his game. And you bring in Korver, who can come in as a veteran and be a supporting player coach. That way, the expectation of minutes are not going to be there. And I don't think Korver is going to come in here demanding minutes. But the value that he brings to the table would only contribute to the shooting that you were talking about, Hakeem, is, being able to have enough shooter to open up the floor to do a little bit more. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Bill.
That would be a good idea, because and he has played for Tibbs in the past, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Yes, he has. So
yes, he has.
I agree with that. That would work. But I would probably get rid of what is this? I forget. 3-point shooter, but his shot is off. Bullock. Yes, Bullock has been disappointing.
But his defense, that's why they got him.
His defense, right. But because I like Harper, man. I really like Harper.
I like him, but he's not gonna get minutes. Remember who he's playing behind.
That's true.
Peyton, quickly. You got Austin River. DSJ is all the way in the doghouse. Right. And then you got Frank.
They're lining him up.
Frank is not a point guard.
Frank's at the door of the doorhouse, maybe.
He's holding it open for him.
They're both leaving at the same time. Yeah. Maybe you could get 2 for 1.
2 for 1 point guards.
Yeah.
Guy, one shooter who doesn't make shots. But
you bring Korver and you get rid of both of those guys. But Pinson is also a liability. He's just there with
just guys.
He's just a uniform,
They're just guys.
I mean, I don't know where he's gonna fit in yet, because he hasn't had the time to be with the team.
Yeah. And I think the idea of bringing in a Korver or someone like that is more important on the developmental side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he's not going to demand many minutes. Maybe you stick him in for a couple of minutes just to get some run, but definitely invaluable knowledge, where to be on the floor, how to set yourself up, give yourself proper spacing.
Footwork,
and all that is important. And anybody who's played for Tibbs before can help young guys when they get frustrated, because he's a tough coach. He drives young guys crazy. That's his history. And unless you've been around him and understand that and are built that way, tough love kind of person, he can wear on you a little bit. So, I worry about that, but some people take them, some people don't. Like he had that problem when he got in Minnesota. Those young guys, they weren't built for that.
Well, that's why Woody is here. Woody has been, a tremendous coach in terms of getting teams to buy in. And he's not,
Right.
he has tough love, but not the same to the extreme
Not the-
that Tom Thibodeau brings to the table. So he can kind of, bring those young guys along in terms of, okay, look, I know he told you this, and I know it sounds harsh, but this is what you need to do. And then he softens that blow. Mr. Bill, we go back, because we play ball, and Mr. Bill got that. He got that it factor. He know how to, put his hand around somebody and soften the blow on somebody hitting somebody with some hardcore, discipline.
Right.
So we're talking about one coach being a bad cop and the other guy being the good cop.
Right.
You gotta have it, man. You gotta have
You
it.
know what? Yeah. But to add to that, the Knicks needed that bad cop, that tough love, that person that, you didn't run the offense right, man. I'm calling a timeout right away, and I'm, get over here. And it seems like it's working for them.
For sure.
Every time that he sees something, they going down, and they don't know what they're doing, and they just Peyton throwing a one-handed bounce pass that got stolen to Randall at the top of the offset, and he's called a timeout right away.
That's good.
And he
Accountability.
Don't come in here throwing out that lazy pass and all that. So anyway, tonight.
Yes, we got it. We got 15 minutes, fellas, so we got to work tonight.
Before we all have to leave. It's the Atlanta Hawks. The first thing I looked at was the injury report, and I see Rondo, Okungo, Herter, and Gallinari. They also have Snell, but I don't count on Snell to be in the game. But these other four guys are out right now. So, they're only depending on Bogdanovich, which is, I think he's day-to-day. Capella, Collins, Hill, Hunter, Reddish, and Trey. That's their crew. And I know that they like to put up points, but we play defense. What do you guys say?
We can't let them get into that Trey throwing, lobs off the backboard and off of his head, and these guys are catching it and slamming it on us. If we allow that, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
We know that he's a great scorer, so he'll get his, and we just have to make it harder for him to get his. That's all. If we stick to defense first and avoid avoid that lobbing stuff that they like to do over there, we'll be okay, because their outside shooting is predicated only on him.
Mm-hmm.
The others are not that great, and their big man, what's the center for them?
Capella.
No, the other one.
They have. Hold on. They got.
Well, he may be the four.
John Collins, I think, is the other guy.
Collins, yes.
DeAndre Hunter, they're all forwards.
He's tough though. Collins is tough, and Trey likes to throw these no look lobs to that guy. So we got to keep a body on him, and I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay as long as we're in the game. As one of you gentlemen mentioned earlier, if we're in the game with 5 minutes left, then I like our chances. I like our chances. But I don't want to play, where we're getting beat by, double figures, and then we have to claw back for the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter we just too tired to pull it through. If we can stay consistent based on our defense, and we're close with 5 minutes left, I'll give us a great chance to pull this one out.
Right. Akeem, are you still with us? Because I think your screen froze, so I'm not sure if your audio is still working. Yeah, he froze. You make a great point, Mr. Bill, regarding this guy Trey Young. This kid, he's very talented. He's very he can score with the best of them, and of course he can go out there and, like you say, he could set up his teammates and have a lob party or or try to play like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Globetrotter,
and we can't be having that up in here.
No.
So what I would do with him is I start off the game picking him up full court. Because I want him to work. I want him.
Right.
You don't want to steal because he'll get by you. You don't want him to put you on his hip, but you want to make him work full court. So you could start out with Peyton on him like that, because usually Peyton is going to start, and then quickly coming off the bench, he can come in and pick him up full court and make him work, or make him give up the ball and let somebody else try to, set up the offense. You want to take the ball out of his hand as much as you possibly can. Because what I see in him is he's great at handling the ball and then shooting it and so forth and so on, which is fine. But the thing is, when you got a guy like that you give him that kind of space and that kind of freedom, then they're gonna have a field day. Your job isn't to do that. Your job is, if that brother's even on the bench trying to look at the basket, you got to defend him on the bench. That's what Scottie Pippen said. When Tony Kukoc was coming in, he said, if I had to defend him by sitting on the bench with him, I was going to defend him on the bench. That's what you got to do with a cat like that. And then on the flip side of that, when we have the ball on offense, I'm backing him down. I want him. Yep. I want him because he's maybe $150 at best. Soaking wet.
Soaking wet. So, 180.
I'm gonna post him down, bro. I'm gonna wear him out. But if you don't use your body against him, how you gonna slow him down? You got to put some weight on him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. Hakeem, what are your thoughts? I know we got about 10 minutes, so I want to get everybody's take on it, and then eventually a prediction.
I agree. Let's take Atlanta first. Atlanta is that team this year that's going to surprise everybody, and they're going to be a 4th or 5th seed in the East. They, aside from the big boys, the Philly, the Boston, those type of teams, Milwaukee even, and now Brooklyn, these guys are coming. They have, when fully stocked and everybody is available, 10 starters. Whatever level starter you call that, a high level starter or B level starter. They got 10 starters. They rotate in and out. Correct. John Collins is going to be the most athletic person we played against this year for those guys down low. So you're going to see, I would take out that tape, both games against Indiana, and see what Sabonis did to you, and watch Miles Turner on the backside. And that's what you're going to have in Clint Capella and Collins tonight. The only difference is that they have a more dynamic weapon than Trae Young on the outside, getting the ball up and down the floor. He's going to get his. He's that kind of guy. He puts 30 points up a night. Doesn't matter what you do. He'll start raining threes. He can dribble to the basket and get easy layups. He has that uneasy speed about him that leaves defenders off balance all the time. But they can be had. They've lost 2 games. It's not like they can't be beat. We beat Milwaukee, we've beaten Indiana, and we've beaten Cleveland, who was undefeated at the time, I believe, or maybe had 1 loss. But they all have fast guards, those guys on the outside. So it's not like we haven't seen a fast guard before. If Frank Ntilikina does not show why he belongs on the Knicks tonight, there's no reason he needs to be here, because these are the kind of games he needs to show what his worth is. Defensively, quick, all over the floor. Use all the fouls you have. Does not matter. But today is a day for Frank Ntilikina, not points-wise, defensively. Catch him up early on the court. As soon as he's crossing that quarter court, coming across towards half, because he's going to pull deep if you give him too much room. And these other guys that they've added, the Bogdanoviches of the world, Gallinari's out, but and they're rookies also. The last couple of years, they've hit on a lot of their rookies. So we need to watch those guys' development. Cam Reddish just coming along from the outside. He's very dangerous. He's going to be an interesting matchup for Barrett tonight. Let's see what he has. Our guys got to come to play. We don't come, we'll get blown out. That's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
The type of team that can blow us out real fast. Like, if they get hot. But we can play with them. We've beaten Milwaukee. We've beaten Indiana. So we can beat quality teams too if we play our style, and if somebody plays not out of the building, shooting out the building, if they play a regular game, we can play with anybody in the league. So I think that's what we've shown this year, and just continue development, man. Like, we have games where I think it was the Indiana game where it went 50 plus in the rebounding. That's big boy basketball right there. That's what we need tonight. because we have to dominate one aspect of the thing. We either got to play sharp defense on the outside and don't let them rain all day, or we got to control the inside and don't let those guys get loose. I'm not sure which one. We have to see how the game plays out. I'm not sure which one's going to benefit us more yet because it's early in the season. But I don't know. I mean, I'm with you guys. Play that sharp defense on the outside. These guys get loose on the inside. It is what it is. It's a learning experience anyway for these guys, Noel and Robinson. So, but this is where we want. You know,
Okay.
We're looking at, when you look at John Collins, that's what you want Obi Toppin to turn into. That type of player. He has that explosion. He has a little bit of that shooting, and he can get free around the basket. So if he can develop to something like that, because I like John Collins. I think he's a very solid player, and he's explosive, and he's getting better every year. So, those types of guys and these type of teams are the ones that we can gauge ourselves against in some aspect, because they're a little bit, I think Atlanta is just a little bit ahead of the curve further than we are. We want to be where they're going. You know, you're adding veteran shooters to your bench, and you're pushing your young players are actually becoming NBA stars. That's the type of team we want to set up to be. And that's what that's what I look at when I see Atlanta this year,
So we're going to start wrapping it up. We got 5 minutes, so we got to do a couple of things. Number one, we want to, put out our prediction, what we think, who's going to win, and by how much. And then that way we could just, start closing this out and, preparing folks for the next episode. So, Henry, you want to start it off?
Yeah, before I make a prediction, I just want to make one little point about the fact that we do have Julius Randle to defend Collins. Okay, so let's not forget, he's not just going to be playing by himself out there. And I see a Frank Ntilikina sighting. I can see him, but more than just pick him up a half court, 3/4 court.
Yeah,
you got to pick him up at the foul line at the other end and make him have to dribble left and right and do this and do that, and then like press up on him at the hash mark and even get the ball out of his hand if we have to. And then again, it's going to have to be that frantic defense.
Your scores.
Oh,
we got 4 minutes.
Great. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't want it to be no shootout. It's not going to be 144, 141. That's for sure. The Knicks are around. They're averaging what, 95 to 102. So I'm going to give them a 98-92 Knicks.
Okay. Mr. Bill.
Knicks.
You got a score?
114, 109.
Woo, 114. We're going to be out there. We're going to be shooting it.
Okay. Hakeem?
I'm in the same boat as Mr. Bill. I'm going 112, 107 Knicks. Trae Young pops for about 40-plus points tonight, but we control the rest of the guys down low.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Milwaukee type win. We're like, wow, where'd that come from? Another one of those tonight.
Okay.
I'll say Knicks 110 and the Hawks 100.
Wow.
But I don't anticipate Trae Young getting 40. No. Tibbs is not going to allow that to happen. They're going to body that cat up. They're going to make him work. If he gets 25, maybe. 30, he's lucky.
All right.
30, he's lucky. So, I know I wouldn't be having it. If I was coaching, he is not going to beat us. Somebody else has got to beat us. I mean, as a coach, you have to approach it that way. You got to take away their strength and force other people to beat you. And I expect Thibodeau to make that adjustment.
Okay.
So 114 what?
I said 110, 100.
He said 110, 100.
Okay, that was and Mr. Bill, you said?
114, 109.
114, 109. And Hakeem said?
I brought it in just a little bit. From
112, 107.
Yeah.
112, 107.
Yeah.
And 98, 92.
All right.
That's cool. That's defense right there, 98, 92.
If we don't score 100 points, man, I don't know if the 3-point shooting was good enough to win this game. We need to score over 100 tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I say we're going to bring the defense. Don't forget. Yeah. We're bringing the defense, and that's the thing that, is going to win most of our games is going to be how hard they play on defense. You know.
All right, fellas, we're gonna wrap it up. Obviously, tonight's game is gonna be interesting. I'm sure you guys are gonna be tuning in, and that'll give us an opportunity. You know, after we watch that game, and hopefully they win as we expect them to win. Then we could come back on Wednesday. We could recap that, and then we could talk about the next game going forward. But I want to thank you guys for joining in on our lunch hour here and being able to have this conversation and you know and stirring the pot. This is what it's all about. You know, let's have some fun with this stuff. Go ahead, Henry.
Okay, so one last thing I want to say is that hopefully, or the plan is moving forward, is that we're going to be meeting on game days at this noon hour, this 12 to 2 time slot. And we're going to make this officially the time slot that we're going to be using so that we can get on, you know, more people to come on at the same time, plus maybe develop, you know, and improve on the chat rooms and, you know, when people get to know that we are consistently on at a certain time, because that's the only way we're going to build that half.
Okay.
And as I always say before we leave, once a Knick,
always a Knick.
Always a Knick.
Always a Knick.
All right, fellas. Go New York, go New York, go.
Go.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Fellas. Thanks again, fellas.
All right.
All right.